The governors elected under the People's Democratic Party are preparing for a showdown with the National Working Committee over control of the party structure in Rivers State. It was gathered that while the governors are insisting that the Rivers State Governor, Sir Siminalayi Fubara, be recognized as the rightful leader of the party in the state, the NWC appears intent to handing over control to the Federal Capital Territory Minister and also former Governor of the state, Nyesom Wike. Now joining me on the program this evening to discuss this is the former Deputy National Publicity Secretary of the People's Democratic Party, Mr. Diran Odeyemi, who joins virtually. I also have David, who also joins me, at this time. David Godwin is the People's Democratic Party member and also a convener of the Youth Alliance for Good Governance of the PDP. Gentlemen, thank you for your time.
Thank you very much. I'm happy to join you this evening.
All right. Let me start off with you, Mr. Odeyemi. We played an excerpt of, the part of the things the former governor and also the current minister of the FCT did say, in our introduction. But I would read a transcript of part of what he said that has sort of elicited reaction. He said, "Let me assure all of you, not while we live will anybody take away the structure of the PDP from us. I hear some governors say they will take over the structure and give it back to somebody. I pity those governors because I will put fire in their states." Your reaction?
I want to believe and they say emphatically that Wike is aggrieved. Whatever is coming out of his mouth is a product of the injury he suffered from PDP. And joining issues with him or threatening him is not the solution. And it will never be a solution. In my language, in Yoruba, when a fly steps on a dangerous part of your body, you don't use an hammer to kill it or to chase it off. You do that gently. Wike, we all know he's a troublemaker. He's not an aberration. It's not that I'm abusing him. From the statements that he has uttered and from his actions, he is battle ready for PDP. And if that is the situation, you don't join issue with somebody who is aggrieved and somebody who is ready for a war. And we are not in a situation whereby we can withstand any war in PDP. What we need to do is to embark on serious reconciliation. What we need to do is to call Wike. And just like I said, after losing the election, after losing the presidential election, there has not been a kind of a review within the party to know the reasons why we lost that election. Who are the people behind that loss? How do we reconcile? And even if we want to discipline them, go ahead and do something. This is after a year. We are still battling with issues in PDP. It's a shame. I would say that as of now, PDP is divided between Wike and Atiku, whether anybody likes it or not. The NWC are divided. The NEC are divided.
But you said the NWC is divided. You said the NWC is divided, but they seem to be more aligned towards the current minister of the FCT.
Oh, that's why I said they are divided. Some align with the minister of FCT, Nyesom Wike, and some are with our former presidential candidate, Atiku. Some are even neutral. They are interested in the progress of the party. So, there are three people or three kind of groups in the NWC. And in a situation whereby you have three groups, how do you now say, yes, you want to take something tangible, from their meetings? And I doubt if they even hold meetings again. I learned that there was no NWC meeting today, which is sad. We rely on NEC, we rely on the governors to come and sanitize things. And the way to do it is to come as a mediator as somebody who is ready for peace. Call Wike. Why are you aggrieved? What is the solution? How do we move forward? I think that is the best way to go about it. Because
Okay.
if you now say you want to discipline him, or you want to expel him from the party, or you want to take the structure off him in Rivers State, it's a great problem. It's
Okay,
a real problem.
let me leave you for a moment, Mr. Odeyemi. Let me go to David on this one. David, you're a young person and, of course, a youth leader within the party. What's your take on what you see happening right now within the PDP?
Yeah, good evening, Dapo. And before I delve into this issue, let me quickly also say good evening to my boss,
Thank you very
Mr.
much.
Diran Odifade. Yeah, long time no see, sir. While he was Deputy National Police Secretary, I served as the SA leader to the National Police Secretary then. That's Honorable Kola Ologbondia. So let me quickly say this, that to an extent, I agree with some of the things, some of the assertions made by Oga Honorable Diran. But then again, it is true that Wike is aggrieved, but I also personally think that Wike is a sore loser. Because in an election, there are two possible situations. There is either a winner and then a loser. And then over time, when there is a loser, of course, if the elections are credible enough, so there is no way I don't want to use the word loser, but if the elections are credible enough, whoever wins, I think everybody should join hands together and then try to see how they can move the party forward. But then, as of now, Wike has not been it has not been gentlemanly about the whole thing. Even when party stakeholders try to reach out to him, of course, prior to the 2003 election, I'm aware that party leaders, stakeholders, even some closer to Atiku, and even Atiku himself at some point in time, tried to reach out with him to see how they can mend fences and then move the party forward. But clearly, Wike was not having any of those. So I think that makes him a very sore loser, which we don't expect as a leader of his magnitude to pull that part. And then secondly, I think it's unfortunate the part that Wike has told as regards his recent comments during the, the congresses in Rivers State. I think it's unfortunate, and then it falls short of his personality as a former governor, a former minister, and a current minister of state. And then it is also unfortunate that people in that Congress, rather than caution their leader and say, no, these are insightful statements, they were seen to be cheering and applauding him, which I think is a little more unfortunate for his followers, so to say. So the problem within the party, I also agree with my leader, Honorable Diran, that the party is largely divided, not even into two factions, because there are also some people that are just onlookers and then are neither here nor there. So this crisis have not really been able to place the party where it belongs as a major opposition party to actually serve as checks and balances to the government of the day. I think rather it's unfortunate because with this whole crisis, it's more like you are giving the APC a field day to do whatever they feel like they want to do with the state of the economy and the willing of the affairs of Nigeria. It's really unfortunate.
All right, I'm still going to stay with you. I mean, right now there is, of course, a lot of talks as regards the issue of structure, which the former governor and also the current minister of the FCT has emphasized, particularly in Rivers State, saying that the structure which he put in place must be respected. Apparently, that seems to be the foundation of all of what we are seeing, play out, particularly in that state. You said, you said that, it's been invited over, there have been talks, mediation talks and all of that. And the former governor, the current FCT minister, keeps referring to that structure. Do you see, a solution in sight, except, aside, going back to the so-called structure the former minister keeps referring to, the former governor keeps referring to?
Well, Dapo, the truth is that the issues of structures in politics is very key. And probably it is the bedrock of every political success. And then the fact is this: yes, Wike must have built structures over time as a former governor of Rivers State, but then our party constitutions are clear about these issues. The highest elected public officials in any state becomes automatic leader of that state. By extension, it means whoever the highest public officer, elected public officer is in that state owns the structure. That's how it is in the People's Democratic Party. And then permit me to say this, that as it stands today, Governor Sim Fubara of Rivers State is the highest ranking political officer in Rivers State, PDP. He is the highest ranking political officer on the platform of the PDP. And as such, by virtue of that, he owns total control of the structure. Whether or not Wike is laying claims to the structure, of course, is just is a way to fight his way back into the party, to continue to see that, okay, I am relevant in the party. But then owning structures do not really claim 100% relevance in the party. If he is at peace with the governor, I am sure there is a gentleman way the both of them can come together and say, look, take this and I take this. It has always been that way. And then let me remind you and then the general viewers that, look, when Wike held sway as the governor of Rivers State, Wike led like he owns Rivers State. I mean, the structure 100% belongs to him. There was never a time he had to share structure with anybody. And then so why all this hulabaloo? Why all this bickering? Why all this troubles here and there? When Wike was governor, there was never a time anybody rise up to try to, share structures with him or lay claims to the structure. So I think it is natural that he respects the order of our party, the order of things in the party, and then allow Fubara to govern the people of Rivers State, to deliver on the promises he has promised the Rivers State. Because as it stands, it is clearly a distraction. And then if the governor is elected to serve the people and you are one place trying to talk about structures, there is one crisis here today, another crisis tomorrow, you are clearly distracting the governor from performing his duties of serving the good people of Rivers State. So the issue of structure, yes, is very, very important, but our constitution is clear. Our constitution is clear on this issue. The highest the highest elected politician person in the party in that state is the leader of the party in that state.
All right, Mr. Godwin, let me leave you for a moment. Let me go back to Mr. Odeyemi. Now, let's talk about the People's Democratic Party generally. There's a general perception that the party has lost its juice, particularly as a strong opposition, given to the internal crisis and the fact that it seems quite a couple of the number of the members are also affiliated with the ruling party. An example is the current minister of the FCT, who still claims to be a strong member of the People's Democratic Party. I would like you to respond to this. As the PDP lost its place as a strong political opposition in the scheme of things on the Nigerian political landscape?
I can tell you that this assertion may not be entirely right, simply because we have a department that takes care of performing the opposition role, which is the publicity manned by Debo Ologunagba. And I think he's doing his best, as far as that is, as far as I am concerned. But that is not to say that there is peace or absolute peace in PDP. Politics is a game. I agree with David. But there are issues that needed to be trashed out before we can achieve peace. Yeah, David was talking about the constitution of the party, which placed Fubara as the leader of the party. But one of the issues that we have, which is presently part of the problem, is the fact that there was a time we were not even acting according to the constitution, because the constitution did not say that the chairman of the party will come from the north. The presidential candidate will also come from the north. That was the crux of the matter. And Wike fought this just to ensure that. Are you hearing me?
Yes, we can hear you. Please go ahead.
Yeah, just to ensure that there is a kind of a balance before we went into that presidential election. But this was not allowed to play. You have the presidential candidate coming from the north and the chairman of the party from the north, even the campaign manager coming from the north. And the issue has been allow IU to resign. The unfortunate thing is, whether we like it or not, IU has been put off the stage now, which he should have done before we went to that election. We have lost and we are losing everything. And we have not really come back to see what made us to fall. So it's an issue. In an ideal situation where the constitution is allowed to, to operate properly, Fubara would have been the leader of the party. But in a situation where you have crisis, the constitution does not play any role. What you have to do now is to look for a middle way to see how to bring solution into the crisis.
All right. Mr. Diran, I understand that we really need to go on a quick commercial break at this point. When we return, of course, we will pick up from where we stopped. My question still remains, has the PDP lost its role as a strong opposition force in the political landscape of Nigeria? Stay with us. It's still Politics HQ on News Central Television, and of course we are talking about the internal crisis within the People's Democratic Party, and I still have my guest with me. Mr. Diran Odeyemi is the former Deputy National Publicity Secretary of the People's Democratic Party, and I also have David Godwin, member of the party and also convener of the PDP Youth Alliance for Good Governance. Gentlemen, thank you for staying with me. Now, let me come to you, Godwin. My question is the PDP, can it still be considered a strong opposition force?
Therefore, whether we like it or not, the role the PDP has to perform in deepening democracy in Nigeria can never be overemphasized. But then as it stands, I think that the PDP is currently sleeping. And then
you said you think the PDP is currently sleeping?
Yes, the party is currently sleeping because it has been bedeviled by serious crisis and crisis of interest and all that. And then where those who claim to be, those who are supposed to be the sacred keeper of our constitutions do not even have the guts to invoke the constitution to deal with certain issues that is bedeviling the party. For example, let me quickly draw your minds and the minds of Nigerians at large watching this interview to a situation that just happened a few days back. There were congresses in about 18 states of Nigeria. And I can tell you that what took place there was just a charade. A situation whereby in some states, it is either PDAPC-LP or PDAPC-SDP, as the case may be. So how do you call that a major opposition party? How do you even think that the party is better positioned to play its role as the major political party in Nigeria? I mean, that is an irony for me as far as I'm concerned. Now, let us look back at what happened prior to 2023 elections. Some persons in the party, some power blocks in the party worked against the party. And what does that? Our constitution in section 58, subsection 1B and F is very clear about that. Look, anybody who has been found wanting or alleged to have, participated in anti-party activities should be invited to the disciplinary committees, and then the constitution is also clear. The constitution also spelled out how they should be dealt with. And then when these pathways are not followed, then it becomes like a circus show.
That would lead me to my next question, because right now the Minister of the FCT has been invited, to the disciplinary committee. My question is this: do you think it will attend that summon, and do you also think that anything substantial will come out of it?
Well, I am not in the minds of former Governor Wike, so I don't know if he's going to answer that call. But then I think on the part of the party, if truly those calls were made, those summons were made, then I think it's actually a courageous one. At least it's a step further into finding resolution.
You said courageous. You used the word courageous. Do we have a situation whereby an individual seems to be more powerful and influential than the party here?
Oh, of course. It has always been that way after the election. In fact, not even after the election. Pre the election, where the G5, the infamous G5 group and those who were loyal to them openly worked against the party. And then there was nobody amongst the sacred keepers of our constitution that were able to like, okay, call these people to order and then caution them against these their unwarranted attacks on the party. Of course, then the issue of courage comes into play. So that's exactly what is happening. And then it is also like a situation where the party has been hijacked by some certain cabals in the party. Of course, the question of courage arises in this situation.
All right, let me leave you for a moment, David. Let me move to Mr. Odeyemi. Now, David has used the word courage, right? And the situation right now appears like an individual seems to exert more power or influence than the party. So I'm still going to pose the same question to you. Do you think that the former governor of Rivers State and the current minister of the FCT would heed to that summoned by the disciplinary committee, and will anything substantial come out of it?
I can tell you that nothing substantial is going to come out of it. I can tell you, frantically, simply because the members of the National Working Committee, the question is, who put them there? It is Wike. They were not there based on normal election. They were there on the influence and the financial support of a nomination of Wike. If you see some of them disagreeing with him, well, they have their reasons. But there are too many of them who are still loyal to him. And that is why I'm asking the question, who is inviting him and who is going to be the judge? A situation whereby you have the acting national chairman, the secretary, and the organizing secretary playing the role they should play in favor of Wike. And you said somebody of the National Working Committee has summoned him to come and answer some questions. Answer who? That is the question. Just like David put it, we have these big cabals in PDP. They are too big to be disciplined. If not, what they are attempting to do now is what they should have done immediately after the election. But how do you now discipline the financiers of the party, the governors, the likes of Wike, the likes of Seyi Makinde, and the five of them?
Sorry, you said discipline the financiers of the party.
Yes.
I would like you to elaborate on that, please.
He who pays the papa dictates the tune. It is the governors who are financing the party. It's clear. Is it not the president of the country that's financing APC? If you need any financial assistance, by the party, it is the governors that you look up to. And who will now discipline them is the question. So that is why I said we have cabals. And among these governors, there are governors and there are governors within PDP. Many of them, I can tell you categorically, are not sincere with reconciliation. They have pitched themselves, their tent with Wike. And that is why it is very difficult to say you want to discipline Wike.
So is it okay to say is it okay to say that Fubara might be fighting a lost cause?
Oh, I want to believe so. Honestly, I want to believe so, because at the end of the day, if the court pronounced the other legislators as the new or as the rightful members of PDP, the next thing they are going to do is to move motions of impeachment or to serve him with notice. That is it. So he's only sitting on the keg of a gunpowder, and the piece you are witnessing now is just a piece of the graveyard. There will be a time bomb, which I pray it doesn't happen before we reconcile the PDP, because it will not be ideal for us as a political party to lose Rivers State for whatever reason.
Okay, just in 30 seconds before we wrap up on this first half. Now, there are talks about some sort of alliance between Atiku, Obi, and Kwankwanso ahead of 2027. In 30 seconds, your take.
It's a good development for Nigerians. It's a good development for PDP, but the question still remains. The reason why they left the party, has the reason been resolved? Can they genuinely come together and put aside their personal desire for leadership in the overriding interest of the party or the masses? That is the question, and that's where I have my doubt. But I pray it happens.
All right. How about you, David?
Well, I have always been of the belief that no nation can thrive, no democracy can thrive on a one-party system. So if the PDP appears to be sleeping or have been captured by one man and his cabal, I do not think there's anything wrong with a talk of merger and alliance, because a nation which is under one political system is clearly heading for anarchy. And then we are seeing it with the way things are going in Nigeria, where there is no clear-cut opposition party to put checks and balances with the government, and then the government of the day just wake up one morning and announce whatever policies they want to. So I think it's a good thing. But then, just like my boss said earlier, are their intentions genuine? Are they going to put out their desire for leadership in the overall interests of the Nigerians? That is what is meant to be seen in the coming days. But I think it promises to be an interesting days ahead.
All right, interesting times indeed. Gentlemen, thank you so much for your time on the program. Mr. Diran Odeyemi is the former Deputy National Publicity Secretary of the People's Democratic Party, and also Mr. David Godwin, PDP member and also the convener of the PDP Youth Alliance for Good Governance. Once again, gentlemen, thank you for your time.
Thank you very much.
All right.